Shall we start? So this what we'll do is just to now the IEEE conference is there in Bengaluru PIT. So in that regard, I thought, okay, just to share how to write a review paper. That's the first step in any of the PhD or MTech programs. So now many are in the verge of they are planning to write a review paper. So regarding that, I just thought to share some of my ideas and viewpoints so that you will be comfortable in writing the review paper. We'll take up one example. Actually, writing a work paper is much easier than writing a review paper. Review paper, you need to work a lot and you need to do a lot of literature survey. Probably, if you have done synopsis, and then based on that synopsis, if you have done it in a right way, you can write review papers very easily. So how to write a good review paper? Minimum papers that you may have to collect. That is the first step. So at least you may have to collect somewhere around past 5 years important papers. That's the first step. Then you will ask the numbers. How many? 100, 75, 50, like that. There is no such limit as such. But the thing is, it must, the more the exhaustive survey, more the quality of review paper will be good. So what is review? Review means you have to add your impressions also there. So we start with one example. Let us take an example, very good example. Always for writing review papers, you keep thinking in your areas and then compare that with this example, what I am trying to say. Always the example which suits here to write a good review paper, so that all of you can understand is how to prepare a good coffee. Let us say that is the research work that you are doing. How do we go about it? So let us say, first of all, you are trying to do a research to come out with a very good tasty coffee. Then in this, you may be planning how to prepare, how to get a good tasty coffee, how to prepare a good tasty coffee. See, it looks very simple, but it is very complex here. So we'll start discussing this way. Very first thing that you may have to understand here is the ingredients. So what are the ingredients? Looks like it may be a coffee powder, sugar, milk. These are the three major contents that we consider here. Then if you keep seeing your research papers, then what they may say is, okay, we have used this coffee powder, and coffee powder again varies. We see all three are variables here. Coffee powder is variable, milk is variable, then again sugar is variable. Now why I have taken this is, researchers might have done lot of permutation and combination in this. If you take one research paper, they may say, I have used this coffee seeds, and then they may also say after that, I have used this proportion. Even proportion, how do you mix that is very important. Chicory is also one more ingredient here. So I have mixed in this proportion, and I have used this milk, cow milk, then again buffalo milk, various kinds, and again in that the milk, how much time it was preserved, and then later how we have used. Each and every small piece of information is very important. So when you read a research paper, carefully you have to observe everything. Which coffee powder, in which region the coffee seeds were grown, and then later the quality of chicory, from which region it is extracted, because all of you know the coffee seeds being grown in different region will give different tastes. So that is why I'm trying to say. And the proportion. So therefore, this researcher has used which coffee powder, which coffee seeds, proportionate which chicory and sugar, and as well milk, what type of milk, proportion. And then not only this, the technique used, how he has prepared by using all these ingredients. You all know nowadays cooking using wood is one method, cooking using electricity is another method, cooking using gas is another method. There are so many several methods. See, even preparation of coffee, each one may have a different technique of preparing coffee. So why I am telling this is, that is why I have taken this as example. The technique, in the way, the technique is nothing but the way that coffee is prepared by using all these ingredients. So you need to note down through what technique the coffee is prepared. Then next comes, so I'm going stepwise. Ingredients, from where it has come. That is very, very important. Then how actually he has prepared the coffee. That is the second point. Then third, the samples. Mean to say, how do you say it is tasty? How do you ensure? What type of survey you have carried out? See, this experimentation you have done, and later that part of the experimentation is somebody has to say, yes, it is very tasty. Then definitely you have to test it on what? The number of coffee lovers. So then you need to take the sample size. You need to be very careful. What is the sample size taken? 100, 200, 400. Is it sufficient? That is the next question. That number also you may have to look in the paper. So in the research paper, how many coffee lovers has tasted this, and then they have given yes to it, right? Or is there any metric to say this coffee is tasty? That also to be noted. So, sir, human taste varies. It is subjective in nature. It is not you can't quantify it. So it is very subjective. It is very qualitative. It cannot be quantitative. See, because I may say it is good, somebody might say it is bad. So is there any quantitative method of analysis of taste? That also is very, very important. See how the research can go into. So therefore, what number of samples is very important, and how many have given the taste good, and which region they have experimented. Again, only restricted to Bengaluru, or restricted to Karnataka, restricted to India, because region-wise sample is also very, very important. Suppose if they have taken heterogeneous sample, that means few from Karnataka, few from Andhra, few from Maharashtra, like that, and then they have tested, check that also. It is better than taking sample from one region. So therefore, see now, ultimately what I am trying to say here is, one paper or one researcher cannot use all the techniques what so far I have told. See how many permutation combinations it can come in right now. See which somebody might have used a Coorg coffee powder, Coorg chicory powder, and the milk taste will also differ whether it is cow or buffalo, and that how it is nourished, what type of quality of milk you are using is very, very important. But after all, how you have measured the quality of these things, that is the next thing I'll come to it. But every researcher is unique by his own way. That means he has used some some technique, some type of coffee powder, some type of chicory, some type of milk, and then see the preparation is also been done in his own unique way. In a coal he might have prepared, or he might prepared by a wood. He might have used jaggery instead of sugar. We don't know. You have to check everything. But once that's been done, then in the conclusion they will write, and once you read the paper, you will clearly understand what ingredients is used, from where it has come. Please note down that point. Then what technique he has used to prepare the coffee. And then next you need to note down the samples. How many samples he has taken? Is it qualitative or is it quantitative? If it is qualitative, then it will be subjective. Then if it is subjective, then the sample, region wise, the number wise, both you need to consider. Then ultimately, then he will write a conclusion. In that, he may say, I have tested only for 200 and only for this particular region. So then in that case, what is next thing that you need to do is, review is not limited to understanding the paper. Let me be very clear here. So likewise, in 5 years, you take all the important papers and understand all these techniques first. What all? See, we are solving only one problem. What is the problem we are solving? The problem is to prepare a tasty coffee. That's all. But that being, for doing it, we are using several techniques and several materials we are using. So therefore, there is a lot of scope, and the samples and the method, the way that what we have conducted, the how we have conducted the experimentation, all these will vary from one researcher to other researcher. This is what you may have to note down. This is what is the sensitivity thing that I am trying to say. So understanding the paper, noting down these things is very, very important. Once you note down, review papers can't be done just by doing a literature summary. You may have to go beyond it. What is that actually? You now have to analyze. Okay, you have gathered papers and you have noted down the summary of each of the very important paper. Out of 5 years, what you have done the literature survey, you might have seen 76 to 75 to 80 papers, out of which 10 or 20 you may feel it very, very important. You might have taken that 20 papers over there. Once those 20 papers, what all the things I have told, you have noted down. Is that the end? No. Now you start looking into. Then you will get in front of you if there is a matrix like this, which says this person has conducted. I'll take only one small example. This person has conducted. Okay, sir, technique remains same. Okay, I and you have done the same technique probably, or 4 researchers might have used the same technique. All have used cooking by gas. Fine. Preparation of coffee. The technique remains same, sir. The cooking gas they have used and the proportionate what they have mixed is also same. Then cook technique is same. Okay, note down. This is what is your job. You need to note down very clearly. Sir, most of the researchers are using this technique. You follow that. You have to sensibly observe that matrix, and then you have to understand. See, sir, most of the researchers, whichever I have come across the literature survey, they are using these techniques to prepare coffee. These proportions they are using to prepare coffee. What I have observed is the nature of coffee seed is varying, chicory quality, chicory is varying, and some you are using sugar, some are using jaggery, and the milk quality or the buffalo or cow milk, there it is differing. These type of sensitive things you have to observe there. Once you gather that, then you may also start saying there is a scope. Where is the scope? And then, sir, one where the researchers are, I am not happy is, now you start giving your opinion. Nah? What is your opinion? You can start giving. Sir, some paper talks about they have conducted only, they have taken samples, only 100 samples. Thus, too restricted to Bengaluru region. So, correct or wrong? It is wrong, I say. You may feel that because other paper might have told we have taken 400 samples in a heterogeneous manner, few in Bengaluru, few in Karnataka, few in Maharashtra, few in Kerala, few in Delhi. That they might tell. So then it will give you an insight. Are correct? No. Only why we should restrict to Karnataka? We should expand it. So at least this sample size or the heterogeneity is good. Homogeneity is bad. Heterogeneity is good. So, but then what is still remaining there? You can think over. Okay. Samples. What is the sample size taken? 100, sir. Most of the papers I have seen only 100. But 100, but there is no logic behind it, or there is no scientific reason behind it, which clearly states how many samples to be taken. Fine. So is it 500? Heterogeneity is fine, but is it 500, 400, 600? Who knows? That, sir, that is gap here. That is the gap that I have found. Even though this they have done it, there is a gap here, sir. The heterogeneity been addressed, but the sample size is not addressed. See, one by one, you need to keep on noting all these things. That is your novelty. That is your contribution in the review paper. So they have not noted down properly. They have not finalized the sample size. That is where one small thing that you have observed. Fine. Then next, where is that? Okay, ingredients. Sir, some region, they have all proved, sir. There is some few students will come to me and say, sir, there is nothing left out for me to research. See, they have already proved, sir, this coffee seed is better, this chicory seeds are better, this type of sugar is better, this type of milk is better. Fine. Then where is the scope here? Then you may have to think, sir, you may have to think, what are the different, see, in the entire world, if you look into, have they experimented with all different types of coffee seeds? Or they have experimented only on set of limited number? That also you have to check. So this is how you should start finding the gaps. Okay, then if you come to a conclusion, no sir, all important types of seeds been covered, or everything I have seen, then get into one more aspect, right? Quality of that seeds. Okay, you may determine, for example, the Coorg coffee seeds are the best, sir. They have proved it experimentally. Fine. Jaggery is the best, sir. That too, jaggery of Mandya, which is grown in Mandya, is best, sir. Okay, that is also proven. So what is left out then? The quality of them. So based on the quality, the taste might differ. Who has ensured the quality? How the quality of that is being measured? Who knows if they have prepared the better, quality, same region jaggery, same region coffee seed, which you have already, some researcher has proved it is very good, but we don't know, he might not have measured the quality of the coffee seed of that particular thing, or a quality of the jaggery. So you are now finding one more gap there. So even though experiments have proved this is the best one, but we are not very sure. Why not? It will depend on the quality. So you can bring in that aspect. So this is how the research goes on. So that is your review. Then again, in the sample, again, what I was talking, you can say everybody is talking only on sample size and regions, heterogeneity, homogeneity, but nobody is talking about a scientific method of measuring quality in a very quantitative method. That is not being done, sir. It's all subjective in nature. You take 400 samples, you take 500 samples, you may reduce subjectivity, but have you completely zeroed it down? The answer may not be no. You might not have completely zeroed it down to the sample size, even though you go for 500, 600. If there is a metric to measure the quality of that coffee, whatever you are preparing, that is the ultimate thing. So you can even mention that, sir, this is how the reviews have to go. See how many aspects I am bringing just while just simply discussing like this. So reviews have to be done in this way. Samples, you can comment. Ingredients, you can comment. Suppose techniques, even techniques might vary. Then you may say everyone is differing in the technique. It is not. See, 10 different types of coffee seeds is used, but 10 researchers have used 10 different types of coffee seeds, but the techniques is not common, sir. How to ensure that 10 coffee seeds will give the same taste or not? If technique is varying, each one is doing on a different type of technique they are using, experimentation or preparation of coffee method is differing, then how do you ensure? See, I have 10 coffee seeds with me. I will use different preparation methods to prepare coffee. Then this is how the researchers will commit mistake. Sir, they told me, usually this is a very, very small example I am taking. We do this type of errors. What we do is, we will not experiment things in a right manner. We will always compare apple with an orange. This is where the problem is. Suppose if there is a scope there also. If 10 different types of seeds been experimented by using 10 different or 2 or 3 different preparation methods, it's not correct. We should use only one preparation method for all the 10 seeds and then ensure the quality, right? So you need to be very, very sensitive. You need to pick all these type of sensitive points. See this, probably you are now getting even synopsis writing, it is like this. This is how the gaps have to be found out. So when you find out the gaps, you can finally, what is review? You are giving your comments. You can finally say one paper. So start practicing this way. Every day read a paper and then see. For example, with the vast knowledge or a broad knowledge, they will say, a broad knowledge that whatever you are going to get out of the literature survey, that whatever you are doing, what next you can do is, when you keep a habit of reading every day every week one paper of in your area. Then observe that and give your review comment. So what is the review? You can put it in your LinkedIn or anywhere that you like to. So it's a information to others stating that, see, this paper I went through and they have used this ingredients. This is the preparation technique that they have used, and this is the samples they have experimented, and what my viewpoint on that. What is your viewpoint? You tell. See, in this paper, what is my viewpoint is, in earlier paper, I was seeing only homogeneity in the sample. Here, I could see the heterogeneity. However, the sample size was restricted to 100. It's a questionable thing. This is what the review. So review means you have to give your comments. You went through the paper, what you felt. So then this is what actually the one which you may have to write. So this will not come that easily, as I'm trying to say. This requires experience. This requires you have to go through all research scholars, including me. I'm telling you, we have to practice. If you are an avid researcher, if you want to become a good researcher, every week kindly read one paper, write review comments. So this is what is the best practice that we can cultivate. That is one important thing. And every week start putting it in your LinkedIn. One small para. So this was the title of the paper, and my research area is this. I'm going through this paper and I found this technique. Same thing. This technique they have used, this samples they have used, this ingredients they have used. So this is the experimentation method they have carried out. But I found this is good in this is bad in this, or this can be experimented further. So don't be negative there. This can be experimented further. So this is what actually is required. So now you can compare with your work, whatever you are trying to do. For example, Mamta madam is here. I will take that example itself. One, right now, signal processing techniques. See, the problem what we are solving is epilepsy, early detection of epilepsy. And what next we are trying to do is, we are trying to solve the problem of epilepsy early detection or accurate detection. We want to use earlier researchers were using signal processing techniques. Now they are using machine learning and deep learning techniques. So what is that first thing that we need to do? How each one will differ right now? That is what we have to experiment. That is what the review paper, that is what we need to go through the research papers, how they differ. Is it in what technique signal processing is using, what ML uses, what deep learning uses. That first techniques you identify. Then the quality in solving the problem. Is it improved or not improved? Is it complex? All that points you can draw out of it. Signal processing technique, is it poor in handling issues? Than machine learning, than deep learning, compare. Then don't blindly use some technology already in the market. Henceforth, I want to use deep learning. It will not be acceptable. No, you need to be very, very clear where, say, is it complex or simple? So it might be simple, but it might not get you the finer details like feature extraction when you go. That is your review. In signal processing, I can extract the features, but in deep learning, I may not be able to do it. And that feature, whatever we are extracting, is very, very important for our next work or something to progress further in the research work. So these type of, and the values, accuracy, what we are getting, and then the metrics also you try to compare. And the methods also you compare. Signal processing is complex, machine learning is much simpler, and something like this. But you need to analyze. When you say complex, why it is complex, how it is complex. Then if it is simple, how it is simple and why it is simple. So these type of reviews have to be done. So I think the time is getting, or 10 minutes is left out. If you have any questions, we'll take up quickly, one or two questions. Anybody?
Sir, this is Pratibha, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I have one doubt, sir, regarding, sir, you told the problem statement would be the one example you gave with respect to the coffee research. So
Yeah.
preparing the tasty coffee will be the simple problem. So always the problem would be the general and very simple, or can we always put in what way the taste parameter should be there, whether it is an cold coffee or hot coffee, or whether
Yeah.
it is a dark coffee, or these
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
the
I understand.
tasty variants, you need to add it or not?
Very good question. Very good question. See, again, what I kept is very problem. Even this is a gap. Whenever you are doing a research review, you can even bring this aspect. See, I am concentrating on the papers of only black coffee, or you can even say the different types cold coffee like this. So you are right. What I am right now talking is a very general. You can be very specific also, Pratibha madam. Not an issue.
Okay, thank you so much.
You can be
Sir, one
specific.
more small.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. So one more small doubt, like you were discussing about the scope of the work.
Yeah.
So all the researchers, whatever may be the domain, can we take the scope of the work based on the whether after that product comes to the market or the prototype comes to the implementation, can we see the future right to the market of that and market capital value of that product into the mindset, and we need to put the scope of the project, sir?
No, no. I think with this example only I will tell. The scope is the importance. See, if you solve this, in what way it is going to help to the society or industry in general? It could be defense, it could be a common person, it could be a defense application, it could be an industry application, it could be a common man. So how our society, how it solves, how you are solving this problem, in what way it is going to help in any of these three major sectors. So that you may have to envisage. Then only you have to talk about scope. For example, if I'm talking about the taste of a coffee, cold coffee, then you may have to survey how many of them are taking in the consuming cold coffee and how many are unhappy. Suppose let's say 1,000 are consuming it and almost 600 to 700 are very unhappy about the taste of the coffee. Suppose if you break through and get and come out with a very good quality cold coffee taste, then you are solving 600 problems and the customer market is going to increase, and then the revenue is going to increase this much of revenue. All that you may have to bring it. So that is how the scope to be determined, Pratibha madam.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. GK sir.
Sir, I have one small doubt, sir.
Yeah, Malti madam. Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah.
Yara question. Sir.
Yes.
Sir. Sir, to make a review paper, is there any limitations, like when we go for the publications, will they restrict the number of pages to be included in the review paper?
No, that's what Malti madam question, no?
Yes, sir. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Madam, very good question. Actually, very good review paper will go to 10 to 20 pages, madam.
Oh, okay, sir.
It can go to 10 to 20 pages. A very good review paper. And I told you in the beginning itself, writing a very good review paper is very tough compared to what? Writing a working paper.
Review paper, very good.
No, working
yes, sir,
paper.
yes,
Because it is results you write that nobody will comment. But review means thorough in all angles. You need to look into, right, madam?
Yes, sir.
Then one more thing I am telling you, the beauty of review papers is you can enhance your citations. Why no? You cite that papers which are being cited by more researchers. Use that in your references. Then your citations will also improve.
Sure, sir. Okay, sir.
So that is another technique actually.
Okay.
So review paper is a very first step for a for research. But even after completion of the research, keep doing your literature survey thoroughly, keep reading the research papers and keep giving your review. That is how you will showcase and you will become visible to the world. Yes, Malti madam or Pradeepa, whomsoever is doing the research, they will become visible only when they say yes, and other researchers will start observing you. Many may not have the patience to go through the research papers. If we cultivate this good habit and every week we start bringing that into the your LinkedIn or your personal somewhere in the social media, and people start observing it, they will come to know, oh, he or she is working in this area and they are expert in this area. So this is what I wanted to tell you. With GK, you can close it.
Sir, Namaskara. Sir, you please add something about plagiarism also here, sir.
What I am trying to say is, when you put efforts in this way, what right now I am trying to say, what I always say to all my research scholars over here is, we have a bad habit of not inking or not typing the matter directly. So preparation of soft copy. So it is really, you can enjoy this whatsoever you do, and the method what right now I told, read a paper, observe the technique, observe the methods what they have used, samples what they how they have carried out the experimentation, and in what way they have improved when being compared with the other previous work. So in your own words, you keep on writing this, so that makes you to learn as well, that makes you to become a good researcher also. So just by nowadays, it's a very bad tendency, when we say review paper, they will go through cut paste, and then somehow they use some softwares to overcome the plagiarism also, and then they will submit. So this will nowhere carry us, and this will nowhere help us to do a good quality research. So let us all aim to do a good quality research. Hardly see, it is faster than writing. It is faster than writing. You please cultivate a habit of preparation of preparing a soft copy along with, after doing your reviews or any work, even experimental work, whatsoever the experimental work you have done, put a graph, put a results over there in a folder, keep on dumping the information. So it becomes very easy to do all those things. So parallelly, you must cultivate to habit of documenting your work through, that is through soft copy. So going ahead, we'll summarize and say how to write a paper now. These are all some of the issues that what we have discussed. So not to confuse you more, what you can do is, right now, let me start like this, a structure of the paper. First, I'll come through body of the paper. Then we will look into how to write an abstract, how to write an introduction, then how to conclude. Because what we so far discussed will help you to write body of the paper. So how do we write the body of the paper? Now, in this example, whatever I have taken, you have found right now, as I told, past 5 years, past 10 years, because if time is less, you are going to see only past 3 years, 5 years paper. That's what I'm trying to say. Please note down there in past 3 or 5 years, what, for example, in this, what we were discussing earlier, note down popularly which region coffee seeds are giving best taste. 2, 3 may be there in that. 2, 3 regions coffee seeds or types may be there. Note down that. Similarly, the chicory from different regions which is giving best taste. You note down that. And similarly, the type of milk whatsoever, you note down that. So then what I mean is ingredients. I'm commenting, that is the, usually in research work, we will say the what you want data, or whatever the inputs, whatever you want, and this is actually a variable. So now, when you have gone through those research papers, your observation says these are the ingredients, mainly used ingredients. That could be one section. You can comment. So usually this is what we have observed. Out of many, you can just mention and then say these 3 main ingredients are used, and don't stop there. Don't stop there. So if you say that these 3 main ingredients are used, you can also comment why they are used widely. Because you are writing review paper, you have to be very careful. See, because of this reason, they are used widely. These ingredients are used widely. So for example, of late, all are using jaggery. You can say most of the coffee lovers now they have shifted to jaggery because of health reasons. Something like that. Earlier, sugar were used, but right now it is cut down, and keeping the health issues in mind, and then the jaggery property, probably almost right now currently whatever the coffee production is happening, or whatsoever it is happening, they are using only jaggery. So why? The reason, you give your ownership there. Please give your ownership. Don't say Sir, these are the three ingredients which have come across. Don't stop at that point. So why that has become famous and why that been widely used? So that is what the first thing that you have to tell. So then the next part what you are going to talk about here is the proportion, even the way that it is mixed, proportion. See, then you might have come across in the papers, most of them are using this proportion, like 20% chicory, 30% coffee powder, something of that sort, which has yielded or given a very good coffee taste. Likewise, some 3-4 proportions may be there. So you comment most of that researcher, then you can give credit to that paper. They have used this proportion, and for which they have got this taste, and they have experimented on these samples size of, but the problem is there here, they have tested with homogeneity, something like that. So this is next you are going to comment on the proportions. Okay. So therefore, further who reads your research paper will be very, very confident. Okay, fine. I need not repeat again the same experimentations or same work what you people are doing. So you have already found the gap. So that gap further, if at all other researcher has to do, let him explore further. Let him not repeat the reinventing the wheel. So therefore you may have to write, these are the popular proportions, but these popular proportions, you give your comment. So whether it is a correct or incorrect, that you say, this proportion I say, even though this 3 popular proportion, you may tick off one proportion. Why? That proportion might be the way that the experimentation is carried out may be very robust there. Maybe the heterogeneity, maybe the sample size, or it might not be subjective, or it might not be qualitative, it may be quantified. So there there is a value there. So you might say that, right? Then we are now discussing one, we told the type of seeds or whatever the type of ingredients that you are using. Then I told the proportion. Then third, I am telling the preparation method. Then when you see the research papers 10 or 15, you might have found some commonly used 2-3 methods. Commonly used some 2-3 preparation methods or techniques may be there. You explain that techniques in detail. Why? Always a researcher will be interested to know, this 3 techniques is used. What are the techniques? You need not go in detail. At least you have to on surface explain what those techniques are, so that a researcher will understand, oh, these are the 3 techniques. So if at all he has to learn, he has to dig. That's a separate issue. But at least introduce those 3 techniques, process what that they've been using. So these are the 3 important process or techniques which are used. You explain that in briefly, those techniques. So the next part I am taking, how the experimentation is carried out. So that also you write. So then you might be telling, okay, then you may be observed, you might have observed, sir, it is being done through a survey. No, this being done in a scientific way. So then you mention, if at all they are doing it in a scientific way, how they have carried out and how they have determined the taste of the coffee, right? That also you comment. If they have done it through a survey, what is that you have observed? The survey size you can comment. Most of them have taken the optimal size of 1,500 and the heterogeneity being used. So something like that you comment. So then therefore the heterogeneity and these are all the and finally, and you can also say, as Pratibha madam was telling, this most of them in all the research papers that whatever we have seen, the research is carried out only on cold coffee taste or a hot coffee taste or something of a different chocolate coffee taste. But so you also mention, we don't know on what more research is happening. That also you can mention the type, and then this is how the body goes. So any doubts here? Body of the paper. I'm just telling the body of the paper. You see how we are expanding what we have learned. So we are expanding the ingredients. We are explaining. We are trying to explain the proportions, and we add our own comments in each section. I'm telling you, we have to add our own comments there, our observation, our reviews on that. So ingredients, proportion, then processing, nothing but technique, then the method in which the way that experimentation is carried out. This could be sample size, could be logical, or it could be a survey, simply survey research. And now new techniques might have come. So if you are aware of some new techniques, you can also say most of the researchers what paper so far I have seen, they have not carried out this technique or this experimental method. You can mention even that comes actually under conclusion, that I will tell you. So these body, after that, now shall I go to conclusion? If you have any doubts in body of the paper, any doubt, Savan?
No, sir. Fine.
Are you now is it clear to you?
Clear, sir. Clear, sir.
Yeah. So if we go to conclusion there, what we will do, now you try to conclude. So you give your thing. See, what is that you are trying to do is a conclusion can be a bit much bigger here. It might run to a bigger paragraph. What I am trying to say. You may comment, let us say like this. Even though this region type of seeds, whatever you are commenting, I feel since it is experimented on a much more large sample and the experiment techniques used is very robust, I feel even though 3 or 4 widely used, we we can choose this type of seeds or this type of proportion to prepare a best coffee. So based on whatever you have gone through, right? The most important techniques you have gone through, the way the experiment has been carried out, you have gone through. So you will get a gut feeling or a logically you can reason it out. Hey, look, out of 3, 4 whatsoever the processing techniques I saw and the experimentation methods I saw, this processing experimentation method is robust. And so hence I can believe this. And then you can say, probably this experimentation, since it is being done in a all different dimension, I choose this as the best. So, however, we can say that if he has not done a quantified method, let us say, we can even try out with these samples with other type of experimentation, and still there is a scope to do something in this work. So that way we can conclude. So conclusion, keep it at the end. I'm just telling you something, and you can also say, for example, if all 3 whatsoever the technique, 3 or 4 techniques and experimentation methods and ingredients, proportions, whatsoever you have seen, there all the experimentation is, for example, I'm telling, it's been done through survey, taste determination, ultimately performance measurement, performance metrics, or how do you measure the performance of your experiment results. So how do you say that? Suppose if it is being done through survey, you can always comment. However, in all the widely used techniques I have observed, it is subjective in nature. It is not, all is qualitative analysis. It is not quantified. You can even mention that. So just this type of thing that you need to conclude. So therefore, conclusion, you need to be double careful. What you are doing, you need to think twice and then conclude. Then let's go to introduction. So probably you can now guess how an introduction might look like. So in an introduction, you might start writing. So it is always you are introducing your paper. How do you introduce your paper? Body of the paper, what it talks about. So it's as simple as that. So that we will not write it like on English statements through para. What we do is we take papers itself in the brief. So we may take some few papers on the ingredients like coffee powder, sugar, and then the chicory. So from different regions, so that you may just mention. So the wide research work is being carried out in the different types of coffee powder, and then chicory, and then the sugar or jaggery. So there may be 1 or 2 papers on that you mention, and they are found different types of coffee seeds and chicory seeds is giving different taste. something like that. That is one small section that you are introducing. So this section will help you to write one big body of the paper. What is that big body of the paper? There you might have observed some 3 different types of ingredients which is most widely used, that you are going to discuss in detail in that body of the section. So you bring that, you make yourself comfortable to introduce to that, right? Similarly, you talk about the proportion. However, people also comment on the proportion in which it is going to be mixed is also very, very important. So and so paper talks about the combination. So how do you mention that? See, somebody might have told not only the quality of the seeds, not only the type of the seeds, but the proportion in which it is mixed is very, very important. That type of paper is there, that should be referred, and you might have to say, and you are making root yourself to comment later in the body about the samples whatever you are taken, or the proportion that whatever you are going to take, different proportion you are going to comment in your body of the paper. But in the introduction there has to be one paper which indicates even proportion is very, very important, not only the type of seeds. Hope you are getting my link very clearly. Then third we will enter. So what is the third? You can now guess. Third another 2-3 papers can be on what? Can be on the preparation methods. Some might have commented not only the type of seeds, not only the proportion, even if you cook with wood, then the taste will be more. Somebody, so that we have experimented. The preparation method is also very, very important. So that type of paper you can refer. So you are making root yourself to in the body to comment on different types of preparation which is widely used. You are going to comment on that. So you are making yourself ground to write those things later in the body of the paper. The next what you are going to comment, the way the people are experimenting, how they are experimenting. That also they may say not only on the seed quality or the type or the proportion or the preparation, even it depends on the sample size. Somebody might have told. So you pick that. So you can start commenting on your ground you are creating to talk about the samples in your body of the paper. See now how I expanded the paper, how to write an introduction and how to expand the paper there in the body of the paper, right? So then any doubts here? Introduction, any doubt? Any doubt?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Clear? Okay, then abstract. So what is the abstract? See, it's a summary of the whole paper that you are doing. So if they read that, the reader or the researcher must understand what is there in the paper. So the first statement that I will write is, as Pratibha madam was asking, coffee taste is very, very important and it adds this much of revenue to the market. One important line has to come. One important line has to come there, right? Second line, what it should be, but still coffee taste is a big question mark. Third point, hence different research is being carried out by varying the seed quality, type, quality, proportion, then the preparation, sample size. People are trying out with these variants. This is what the next point you have to write. Researchers are working on these areas currently. Now the last statement, what you will write. What is the last statement? This paper compares the most widely used processing techniques or the preparation techniques, types of seeds which gives the best taste. Like that you can conclude. Last line in that your abstract say, our review suggests so and so quality of seeds or region seeds and preparation method is best, which gives the best coffee taste. That's all you need to conclude. Am I clear? Am I clear now?
Yes, sir.
Great,
This is
sir.
how it is. This will not come by It may look simple, but this is how it need to be carried out. I repeat, if you want. First abstract, see, that's what, keep it in mind. First line is importance. Bring the importance. Very, very important. Coffee taste is very important. This much revenue loss is happening. This much, something like that, what you bring it. One important line. Then second, you comment, but still taste is a question mark. Third, you say many researchers are working to improve on this, on the taste based on, and they are experimenting with type of seeds, quality of seeds, proportion, then the experiment samples, so and so forth. And this paper, what you do, you compare the most widely used type of seeds and then the preparation techniques, blah, blah, blah. What is the conclusion that you have done? Based on the review and the conclusion and the comparison, we found this paper compares the best 3 or something like that, best 4, best 3 seed types, the preparation techniques and the experimentation methods. You can write it. Then last line, our review suggests this is the best type of seed for which best preparation technique for getting a beautiful or a best coffee taste. So this is how the review should close. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
one
Yes, sir. Yes,
one
sir.
thing, sir. Regarding keywords, sir, I was had something confused.
I will tell you.
How many keywords should be added?
First, the last one is keywords. I will tell you. So is it clear now? Abstract is clear. Body is clear.
Yes.
Conclusion is clear.
Sir, I have one doubt.
Yeah.
How do we show the gap in this, in our work?
Which one? See, in your gap, see, for example, that's what I'm trying to say. For example, you are taking the type of seed, right? So type of seed, if somebody has concluded these 3 types of seeds are most widely used, you have to be sensible there and you say that somehow I feel the type of seed being discussed, but the quality of seed they have never mentioned in any of these papers. So that's the gap that I am finding, which I may experiment later, or you may say the scope for future work.
Okay, sir.
Malti madam, over, clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Clear, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So keywords, as someone was asking. So now I need not say the keywords, I feel. So what are the keywords here? Keywords is type of seeds, some particular seeds. You can say whichever is prominently used, right? Then you can say that very important processing technique, some good processing technique that they have used, preparation technique, which is very most widely, very popularly used, that preparation technique, that name can come, right? Then third, you can comment on something like, you can also mention some experimentation, logical experimentation for evaluating the taste performance metric. That technique name can come, experimentation technique name. Some, for example, the lactose meter, if I'm correct, to measure the milk quality.
Lactometer.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Correct,
Yes, sir.
now? So you
Lactometer.
can mention lactometer like that, pH value. See, you can measure the quality of a milk through some ingredients, and then that instrument, whatever is used, you can mention that. So because so far it was subjective, now I am using an instrument to do that. It cannot go wrong. So that is why keywords are very important. You choose this way. So this is what the keywords are. So hope I have made in very short time more clear to you, and you can work on the paper now. Mamta madam.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You got a point why I was not happy with the work?
Yes, sir. Yes,
This
sir.
is what I was
understood,
telling
sir.
to your students.
Yes, sir.
Correct now, not with you. The problem can be even old, but you need to take in research unexplored areas. And unexplored areas is not that easy to find. Only when you start digging in research, literature survey, that is why literature survey carries very important, it's a very important phase in research. You need to be very, very careful. So how do we understand the gaps? Where actually what is not explored? What are the dark areas still? Let those dark areas to be picked up. So nothing like There is everything is evaluated, sir. Nothing is there for me to do the research. So this is what I am trying to say. It's very easy. Kindly inform Chetan to complete his synopsis presentation at the earliest.
Yes, sir. I am there here only, sir.
Chetan,
I'll do it, sir.
ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ
Yes, sir.
ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡಿ ಇದನ್ನ. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯ್ತಾ?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
You need to explore. You need to explore.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Conclusion ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾವು limitations or the challenges of the work which is carried out in the previous research ನಾವು ಅದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೋಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಅದನ್ನ ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದರ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ರಿಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ನ ಯಾವ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಸಬ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಸರ್?
Pratima madam, ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ whenever you have done experimentation, you are already getting into your working chapters. It's only a review. It's only a review paper. It will not, don't put and waste your work. That is also very, very important. You have done already, you have challenged and you have observed the gap and you have observed the limitation and you have done experimentation to overcome the limitation and you have got your own results. So you are already into your working chapters there.
ಸರ್, ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಜರ್ನಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರಿವ್ಯೂ ಪೇಪರ್ ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ 15 to 20% ನಾವೆಲ್ಟಿ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದಾರಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಆ
This is the novelty. I told you, no, this is the novelty, madam. What way the novelty? As far as possible, I don't recommend to share the work in review papers unless it is a top quality journal. If it is going, I agree. If it is not going to a top quality journal, what best you can do is, what is that innovativeness that you can add is, I have already told. See, for example, they talk about type of seeds, but they never talk about the quality of the seeds. They would have measured the quality of the seeds. Nowadays, there are techniques, food preservation techniques are there. We don't know, is it adulterated or not adulterated? This type of techniques can be added, and then you can hypothetically give your problem statements there. These are the limitations that need to be looked into. That way you can mention. Please don't experiment. And once you know that, then you start preparing coffee with a low quality powder, with a well preserved coffee seed, and then experiment the taste of the coffee, then prove adulterated coffee seeds with results in a bad coffee. That becomes a working chapter. Am I clear?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Like logical hypothetical analysis will be the novelty for the
novelty in some of the medium level IEEE journal, IEEE conferences where all you apply review and all that. Suppose if any of the journal is very, very, very standard, right? Then you can think even giving these results. Which results right now? You have experimented with not only type of quality of the seeds, type of seeds, but you have also experimented with its quality, and you have found this quality also matters. That's a novelty in yours.
Okay, okay, understood, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So if anything else, shall we close? Hope it was useful.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
definitely,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Really
Yes, sir.
insightful
Yes, sir.
session,
Most
sir.
useful, sir.
Yeah, why? Because
Very
I
useful,
thought rather simply telling that to write a review paper, thought of giving you a brief introduction how to write a review paper, so that you will be all on same page, and you can coming conference IEEE is there in BIT Bengaluru. It is Bengaluru only, so that therefore you will all be very comfortable, because especially ladies who are here, they can't move around with their because of restrictions and all that. So it's an IEEE conference where all, not only I am not asking you to apply for this, any journal also you can apply. But let us do a beginning. Let us prepare a quality review paper, as Malti madam was trying to say very clearly. Research review papers, if the quality is good, it can go to pages, 10 pages, 15 pages also. It's all, how how passionate you are in digging the work, right? So therefore,
Yes, sir.
wish you all the best. Wish you all the best. Shall we conclude?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We thought of doing this type of sessions, sir. We too want to, because of the COVID, it has all stopped. Now we will start again, and then it is very good that every research scholar, if they review one paper every week, it's like a novel reading. They have to read how we read storybook. A passionate researcher has to read one paper every week, and weekend in the LinkedIn, a review para have to come.
Okay, sir.
GK, that we will start, because that is how the visibility, we will become world professors, world-class professors and world-class researchers. I want each one have to become world-class researchers here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
sir.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, sir. Good
Thank you,
night,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Good night, sir. Namaskar, sir.
Good night. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Thank you.
Good night, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good night, sir. Thank you, sir.